Welcome to Raiders TV with Plymouth University. Today the Raiders face Sheffield Sharks in the quarterfinals of the BBL trophy. Now the Sheffield Sharks won the trophy last year, so they're going to be keen to hold on to the silverware. Back in 2007 when I was playing for the Raiders, we won the trophy. It's a great tournament to win because you've got to beat all these teams to get to the final, obviously. And then in the final, the whole team played well and we beat the Newcastle Eagles. But in every round to get to that final, we had different players step up. So today the Raiders are going to need that X factor. Somebody coming off the bench, somebody starting, but somebody has to really come to the party today, be proud to wear that green shirt, represent Plymouth, and take the Raiders through to the semi-final. So let's get straight to it.
Now the game tips off, and right away it could have been a backcourt violation, but BJ Holmes, who went 2 for 4 threes in this game, hits 2 from exactly the same spot. And then Horseman goes to the basket, was strong, physical, with a nice left-hand finish. But the Sheffield Sharks, who were playing zone, Robinson tried to beat that zone with penetration, couldn't quite get the finish there, but then the best way to beat a zone is get up and down the court, and off great defense, Robinson there gets the and one, and then Raiders again, good defense, leads to the break, beat the defense, and a nice finish by Robinson, nice touch, and then once again Robinson with an in and out move, and then flies in for the layup. That's the best way to beat that zone. And then just before the quarter ends, Haskins gets it to Robinson, he flips it up and keeps the Raiders in close distance of the Sharks, 18-23 going into the second quarter. So, Sheffield's still in that zone, and Nick George tidies up that miss by Martin with a nice finish, good footwork, and then that's another way to beat a zone, penetration, and kick it out to Haskins with a nice fake and a nice runner, but then the Raiders keeping it going with the outside, and that was a good stand which the refs didn't call, but then that's the other way to beat a zone with ball movement and then finding open shooters, which they do well there, the Raiders, and then Babalola gets called for a palming violation of carry. That was debatable, and the ref calls, or the crowd get into it, and the Sheffield Sharks coach has to pull him off the court before he might pick up a technical, but then the Raiders really sloppy defense, that's far too easy. Sharks taking advantage of the small lineup and then knocking down a 3, and then a bad turnover by the Raiders, pretty careless. It leads to an easy basket on the breakaway. So that really is bad defense off a simple pass to get an and one. But then the Raiders with a big finish, so all to play for going into the third quarter.
For this week, Basketball 101, we've got people from the university here. Plymouth University has a number of partnerships around Plymouth. They support local clubs, local professional clubs, and it's something they really pride themselves on. And we're here discussing or talking about the game with Richard.
Yeah, we're on the wrong side of an exciting game just at the moment, but it's nip and tuck, and I think we've got a good chance of pulling it around in the second half.
Ross, what are you thinking about the game?
It's pretty good. I reckon we're going to bring it back later on in the game. I reckon the other team's going to tire a bit. And then, yeah.
Favourite players so far?
Gabe Haskins. Definitely.
Gabe Haskins.
Yeah, he's a little whippet.
Tell us a little bit about partnerships that you're developing with the university and some of the teams around Plymouth.
So we're working with lots of different teams. We're working with Albion, Argyle and Raiders, to name a few. And we're just creating as many student experiences opportunities as we can.
Predictions, final score?
Difficult to say. I think the Raiders will pull through. It's going to be very close. Maybe a 3-point lead. Maybe early 90 points.
Finally, a shot. You get one chance to score.
Keep watching.
And the Sharks staying in that zone. Robinson trying to hit a tough fadeaway. Couldn't quite get that one to go, but then gets to the lane off the penetration and then hits the 3. And the Sharks missing from the outside, but then that zone really started to tighten up, and the Raiders not getting back on defense. 3-on-1. Misses the layup, but where are the Raiders players? Should be sprinting back, and that's really poor. But then not great spacing, but Hines hits a 3. That did him a lot of good. The crowd got behind him. And then a big 3. Eves makes that 3. That was a nice shot. And it was a shootout for a while here in the third quarter. Trying to get some penetration. And a nice dish by Eves. And then Hines with the big 2-hand dunk. The crowd really got into it. Hines letting out some frustration after missing a few shots in the last couple of games, but he was playing well in this one. But then a big 3 by the Sharks. And they're up by 6. And then that zone really caused the Raiders some problems in the fourth quarter. They just could not hit outside shots. They weren't moving the ball. and they weren't shifting the zone and getting good looks, whereas on the other end, the Sharks were just getting easy shots off penetration, nice passing, and nice layups. Raiders do something similar there. Eves gets to the basket, a nice finish, and then off the break to Robinson with a tough and one. Nick George showing handles, taking it right at his chest and finishing strong, but then the Sharks doing exactly the same down the other end, and the Raiders going cold towards the end with outside shots and air balls, and the Sharks with a nice finish, and then Martin hits a three, but it was all too late, and the Raiders really lost this one quite meekly, 74-60.
They're a tough team, but that zone really seemed to kind of be a problem in the second half. What exactly were your thoughts on it?
I feel like we didn't move the ball enough, like we were talking about. We didn't move the ball enough, we didn't penetrate enough, you know. It was just one pass and then shoot, you know. We just felt like we could shoot our way out of the zone, which wasn't the case at all, you know what I mean? So we just got to execute more too, you know. And when the time's going down, you know, that's when we got to stay solid and execute a play, you know. We just rushed it, you know, a couple turnovers, you know, bad shots. So.
Okay, we're here with super fan Declan. Declan, you a big fan of the Raiders?
Yes.
Who's your favourite player?
Matt Pressey.
Matt Pressey.
Yes.
How many years have you been coming to the Raiders?
I think I've been coming for a year.
A year?
Yes.
Okay. And you play basketball yourself?
Yes, I do enjoy basketball.
What are your thoughts on the game today?
Well, it was a fairly even match. The Raiders weren't quick enough to get the ball down this end.
You think that's why they lost?
Yeah.
Transition?
I think they should have been quicker.
There's still lots to play for, you know. Like, you're still driving for that playoff spot. Top four is obviously ideal to get the home court. For me, there's still a lot for this team to achieve this year.
Yeah, playoffs are pretty exciting at the moment. You know what I mean? Not for me personally, but they're pretty exciting for the BBL. And I think there's probably more onus on what's going on in that mid-table than what's going on at the top. Really, Worcester and Newcastle are starting to run away, and you know, not saying people's interest is dropping away, but it's much more exciting what's going on. Leicester have dropped a couple of games. You know, we got a game here Saturday, and we've shown enough fight today to think to ourselves, look, you know, let's go back to the drawing board and let's see offensively if we can get to the next stage. But I just think we've got a lot of very exciting players, but perhaps don't have that experience about just sticking in there. And they did at the end of the day. They didn't rush. PJ Holmes, he never rushed the whole game, really. I don't think he just looked very under control. And I like Nick Lewis a lot as well. I think those two guards helped settle things down, and they're obviously very good on the boards.
If you were playing, what would you have done?
Well, I couldn't have done much better than what they could have done, really.
So unfortunately a loss for the Raiders, 74-60. They're out of the trophy, but still a lot to play for in the season. You know, lots of new players coming in, so they've got to develop that identity, develop how they play together, what they stand for, how they're going to win games, and then move forward. So they've got to aim for the highest position they can in the league and try to make a run in the playoffs. So still lots to go for. So thanks for watching. This has been Raiders TV with Plymouth University, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.